to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
There's a hot dog around. We can discuss that later. Let's talk about that later. Oh my god.
No, I got it for you. That's better.
Dude, I'm punchy. Okay. I'm punchy this morning. I'm pissy.
You know who else is pissy?
I think we might know.
Yeah. I mean, good God, like it's just like I'll give him credit. He was direct.
Okay. So this is like the biggest fucking story all over hockey Twitter. Like still.
Did you see the edit that someone made of it?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was Brendan Perlini who was up like.
Oh yes, I remember he had like the big
question,
hopeful
and he was
speech.
So positive. He was just like, "Yeah, man, we've been losing a little bit, and I think maybe
what
when
we
were
should
winning,
be talking
we're
about.
Grateful, and
next game.
Yeah, once we get back to our winning ways, maybe we'll appreciate it more. We'll find some consistency in our game." Like super positive answer, and someone edited it at the end. Him just being like, "Why are you so pissy?" He's like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
No, but okay. So for the whole context, the Oilers are still in a really, really bad way.
Yes, because the Oilers are poorly constructed and they're not a very good hockey team. And suddenly, when Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid carrying you doesn't become enough, you start to lose hockey games because of it.
And I mean, Connor looked absolutely dead inside in his last big presser.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that everyone's talking about is Leon's from one of their more recent losses. And reason being, what's his first name? Jim? I can't even remember. Jim Matheson, who used to go by NHL by Maddie, one of the biggest shit posters all over hockey Twitter.
Glad to see he changed his ways.
Who's a legitimate reporter, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's the weirdest thing.
Like I understand that he used to shit post, but like it's still like you mentioned, like he's a legitimate reporter. Like I don't care that you used to shit post, and like that's maybe like more so your personality. There's still a line that you don't cross as a reporter. Like urinating tree would never go to a presser in Pittsburgh and ask Sidney Crosby why he's so pissy. You know what I mean? Like
right. Okay. So the question was like basically he asked, like, you guys can go and search this up because we don't have the footage, the rights and the footage to actually play this.
But he asked a legitimate question, which was, hey, like if as you've been losing these games and it's been happening over the course of the last couple of weeks, is there one specific thing that stands out to you that you just need to get better at?
And Leon said, well, we have to get better at everything, which legitimate answer. Mm-hmm. But it's not the answer that Matheson was looking for, which is the problem with him.
I literally asked that question last night after Canisius's game where they lost 7-4. Mm-hmm. And I asked our coach that, and he didn't give me some bullshit answer. He was just like, defense. Right. It's not hard to give a fucking answer. So I understand maybe a little bit some of the frustration with Draisaitl not giving you an answer in terms of, the one specific area that you're looking for. But he's not obligated to either. If Trevor Large didn't give me a fucking answer last night when I asked that question, I wouldn't have been like, yo, dog, why are you so pissy when they just lost 7-4?
Because, okay, so Matheson was looking for something very specific to the point where he was trying to bait Leon Draisaitl into throwing a teammate onto the bus or throwing his coach onto the bus.
Yeah.
That's clear. He had
an
agenda.
Or a unit being like, oh, the power play sucks or the penalty kill sucks or something like that, you know?
He had an agenda with this question. And you could see like Leon's like smirking, and you can tell he's not going to take the bait.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But then immediately, like, Matheson snaps and is like, why are you so pissy with me, Leon? And he's like, I'm not. This guy is in his like early 70s. He's been covering the Oilers since pretty much their inception. Right?
Yeah.
And Leon Draisaitl is this 25, 26-year-old phenomenal hockey player. He doesn't have to take your shit. Like,
he doesn't. And
I can understand there's wrongs on both sides here, but at the same time, Matheson's was way more wrong than how Leon responded.
Yeah, it's because, again, players are not obligated really to give you an answer.
No. And I mean, it would have made for a good like print headline, you know, like the SDP guys and CJ and Julian were talking about it on their podcasts. Like, would have made for a good written headline. We need to get better at everything. He's a writer. Mm-hmm. Put it in your writing.
Yeah, no, you can work with it. I don't know. It's not like it's the worst answer in the world. It's really not. No,
because it's actually pretty damn true. We've talked about it
it's pretty
extensively with how
he's not going to give you the God's honest truth, which is, you know, everybody but me and Connor need to be better.
Right, exactly.
But like still like saying better at everything, because it doesn't throw anybody under the bus, but it doesn't keep anybody on a pedestal either. You know, you're not, you know, you're saying, oh, defense has to be better. Goaltending has to be better. You know, we need to score more goals. It's stuff like that. Like it's a simple answer, but it's the only answer you were going to get. I can't imagine asking a player that question and imagining them just being like, this is the specific area we need to improve on, because you're not going to throw anybody under the bus.
No, because
like
he's just a player.
Coach might be able to do that, but not a player.
Yeah, a player. There's a reason why player interviews are so cliched anymore.
You get way more answers from coaches than you do players. You really do.
John Tortorella.
Yeah. Unless the interview is more positive geared.
Right.
Because if you're at
like Brendan Perlini, which is the one we should be talking about.
Yeah. If a guy scores a hat trick and you ask him questions after the game, he's not going to be like, we played well tonight. Well, I don't know. Maybe John Tavares might do that, but you know, some players are going to be positive and just be like, "Yeah, it was a fun night." You know, it was just going into that.
It was cool.
It's pretty neat. But like, when shit's negative, no teammate is ever going to come out and just be like, "Man, the penalty kill fucking sucks." Like,
right?
Just not.
Especially if it's a unit that they're in. Like, even you know, they don't want to damage their own ego as much as the next person.
I don't know, but it's how they do love
whether you're humble, whether
accept accountability.
Yeah,
for the most part. Generally speaking,
it's like still you don't want to call too much attention to yourself, to any specific teammate.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm not sure what he was going on about.
I don't know why. Like, there's really no other point to regurgitate other than why. It's unprofessional to say pissy for one.
Unprofessional, uncivilized. He was trying to provoke something from him. But the one thing that we got out of it was pretty fucking hilarious.
It was very funny.
It was pretty damn funny. Like, so we'll take the good with the bad.
It was very funny.
Who knows? Maybe that's the thing that the Oilers need to get over the hump. Maybe just something to laugh about in the locker room, so they go out in the next game and they're just like, "Hey, let's play pissy tonight."
Well, the next game, they did have signs at Rogers' place that like fan signs that said "pissy" all over them. Another thing is like the responses that Matheson was getting, like, from fellow writers, but because he changed his Twitter handle, obviously, to just like Matheson NHL, right? And there was a fake with a capital I instead of an L. That
those fakes,
guys like Mark Masters and like, those legitimate writers were coming to the defense of this fake Twitter account.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Look for the check mark, though. It ain't hard. Right. It's there for a reason.
And I mean, David Pagnotia doesn't have a check mark. It's a joke. Like, you know what I mean? There are legitimate writers that aren't verified on social media.
It's just I die every time I see someone fall for a fake Free account, and I'm just like, good God, like that doesn't even look like it. It looks like a spam email. Like,
exactly. It looks like
how in the world would you fall for that?
It looks like Tony D'Angelo's burner Twitter.
Speaking of that, he actually had a pretty good night last night. So
yeah.
That account was going off after the game.
Can I just say, okay, so we've talked about, or at least we've addressed people coming to the defense of Matheson. We've addressed how weird this is. What we haven't really talked about with this is Brendan Perlini, the interview that we should be talking about.
Yeah, which is a very positive one. It's a good answer. I mean, it's a really good answer from a player, just being like, like maybe the attitude just wasn't the right attitude to have when we were winning.
Right.
And once we get back to it, that's something that we need to focus on so we can continue to win.
We need to focus on building these habits back up. We need to, keep the morale up as best as we can and, stick together like brothers, like we are, right? And
damn good answer. Like this is the best answer you're ever going to get from a hockey player. It really is.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, the follow-up was like, when do you guys think you can get back to those habits? And he immediately, with a big smile on his face, said, next game.
Yeah. And
there you go. It's like, that was way more wholesome. Come on.
That's something I want. Like in one of the main sports cliches that we do, not just specifically you and me, but like everybody does, is when we talk about a player being like, it's a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
But no, like legitimately, I look at a guy with that kind of attitude and I'm like, no, I wouldn't mind having a guy like that in my locker room. Are you kidding me? Like someone.
Brendan Perlini sounds like the perfect teammate.
Yeah.
The perfect morale guy.
Because you're always going to want someone who can be a little bit of a hard ass on you. Usually it's your coach, but you got players like that too. But you also want guys who are positive, who
right,
help uplift you in those moments too.
And I mean, it's funny because we talked about this with Evander Kane previously, where you talked about the balance of player, right? Where if he's good on the ice, probably a piece of shit off.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you mentioned good locker room guys usually aren't the best on ice players. But then when you get those mix of both, like Boone Jenner, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of teammate you need.
Yeah, no. Brendan Perlini, I mean, I don't want to say disappointed in terms of his career, but he was, I believe, first round.
He's an NHL player. It's not.
But he's a bottom six guy. Like he's consistent. He's going to consistently play games. He's going to be in your lineup most nights. So
yeah.
At least he's carving.
That's all you can ask for, is to have a guy regularly in your lineup.
Yeah. So, but no, that's definitely a guy that I would want on my team.
Oh, absolutely.
Evander Kane, not so much, but you know what? Apparently he might be an Oiler soon, so as if they needed more issues, more headaches.
Right, exactly. Ugh.
No, I appreciate it. The Oilers are losing. Let me say, what can we do to fix this? I got a great idea.
Said Ken Holland.
He's just like, all right, we got this pass. We'll pass it up right here. Evander Kane.
It's like Phil Swift and the flex tape.
Yeah, the fucking flex tape.
Oh my god.
Like, dog, I'm pretty sure you're just gonna crack that glass even more. But
I think Columbus needs some flex tape because this stretch has been wild.
It's been
these last 4 games since our last show have been something
expected
else.
From them, right?
I mean, yes, they're regressing to the mean, but we didn't expect it to be this weird, this back and forth, and this drastic. Let's get Kepi Keepers done real quick first.
That's a good question, Doug.
Let's spin some positivity like Brendan Perlini and hand out some Kepis, shall we?
Sounds good to me. You go first.
I'm gonna give it to the captain.
Boone.
I'm gonna give it to Boone Jenner because if there's one guy that's actually been consistently showing up, and we've talked about this. Boone has had probably one of the better seasons in his career thus far this year. Dark horse for All-Star. He didn't get it, but like he didn't even get consideration for last minute, and that went to Jake Voracek. But Boone's having himself a nice little season, and he had, 4 or 5 points in this stretch where he's consistently been showing up on the score sheet and just doing what he can to help, He had 2 assists against Philadelphia.
Yeah. No, he's been excellent, man. He's been
He scored against Carolina. He scored against Florida, I'm pretty sure, and that drubbing.
Yeah. So, God, that game. Can't wait to get that one.
We'll talk about those.
I have mine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go to you main product, Goose. Going to give it to Gus Nyquist.
He went to Maine, huh?
I have his Maine jersey.
Did not realize he was a college hockey product.
Yeah, he played for Maine, I think, for 3 years.
Fair enough. It's always funny when you get to see, you look at your college roster and you see international players and you're like, how did they end up here?
Yeah, for sure. But Gus Nyquist, shorthanded king.
Yes.
We talk about, I always talk about guys who are like, oh, this guy struggles to produce at 5-on-5. He's a power play player like Mike Hoffman. I'm just like, well, Gus Nyquist is the anti-Mike Hoffman. He doesn't produce at 5-on-5. He only produces when we're down a man. He has 4 shorthanded goals this year.
Goose gets loose when there's more ice for him, I guess, right?
I mean, the Blue Jackets have 5 shorthanded goals this year. 4 of them are from him. So
wow.
He's got 10 goals this year, 11 assists for 21 points in 38 games. Remember, this is a guy who didn't play last year because he was out the entire season with an injury.
Right.
So for him to come back that way, especially he had a slow start to the season, which is understandable, after missing that much time. Mm-hmm. He's really been coming on lately, so I think we definitely need to give him a shout out. I mean, he had a goal last night in the loss to Pittsburgh that was unbelievable from a sharp angle.
Right.
He also scored in that absolute thumping against
Florida.
And no, he's been good. It's good having him back.
Yes.
So we'll give him a little bit of a shout out. I think he deserves it.
Kepi's off to Goose. Kepi's off to Boone. This stretch has been weird. Like I said, 2 wins, 2 losses, all of them vastly different.
Did we cover the Chicago game?
I don't think we did, but no, we didn't.
Okay, so we're 2-3 in our last 5.
Yeah, because I remember we were going to record that day, and then you had some, I think. Oh, that's right. We were going to record this Tuesday, but then your flight got delayed.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So
yeah, no, the horrors of getting back, the horrors of having to stay an extra day in Orlando.
we missed Grateful Dead night.
Did we really?
That game on the 11th was Grateful Dead night.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Damn.
The Blues. I think the Blues are doing one next month.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right.
Okay, so
these as quickly as we can.
Yes. Okay. First one was in Carolina, and you want to talk about revenge for 7-4?
Yeah. No,
Holy shit! Putting up a touchdown.
Yeah. They missed the PAT, but it's fine. I mean, they shut him out. So, Elvis, you win a game 6-0. Obviously, you know that there's a shutout, but you don't really think too hard about the goaltending performance. Elvis had an unbelievable save in the first period.
Oh yeah.
He was outstanding in that game, and
Jack just had himself a night.
It was amazing. Emil Bemstrom gets his first this season to open the scoring.
Right.
Jaeger Bomb had 2.
That's our boy.
Line had an unbelievable rip.
Yes, he did. Oh my god. Okay, so you guys know how I have 3 Blue Jackets on my fantasy team. All 3 of them contributed at least something.
You mentioned Jack had a goal. Cole Sillinger had a goal.
Jack had a goal and an assist. Oliver had an assist, and Patty had a goal. That's how my fantasy team fared that one game.
Former Hurricane Jake Bean had 2 assists in that game. He was a +2.
Jake Bean's better than Jacob Slavin, confirmed. That's that. Do I need to explain that? That's a Discord inside joke with like me and Line Express and Timbo. That's it's pretty funny. We jab each other over Bean versus Slavin all the time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to see him against his former team get a couple of assists. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a little concerned with him, but that may be for another day.
I mean, he's young. I could see it's fine that he's been relegated to the third pair for now. Like,
I'm not even so much concerned about the pairing. So I'm looking nerd. I'm pulling up card.
Fresh Geek time.
Yes. So
Patreon.
This is a kid who doesn't really play any minutes on the power play or penalty kill. Okay.
Right.
Which is fine, I suppose. His finishing percentage is 57%. Not bad. Mm-hmm. That's the percentile he's in. Mm-hmm. It's slightly above average. Goals per 60, 23 percentile, which isn't great, but again, he's a defenseman. Primary assists per 60, 78%, pretty good. Penalties. So, this is a guy who literally will take as many penalties as he draws. So that's really a wash. Mm-hmm. Quality of competition, 58%. So he's not facing anybody too difficult, but a little bit above average. Quality of teammate, that's 91%. So certainly he benefits from playing some minutes with Zach Werenski this season.
Absolutely. I think Andrew Peak does too, but we'll get to him too at some point.
He's in the 70 percentile for offense. Okay.
Good.
He's in the 1 percentile for defense.
Okay, Jakey boy.
Dog. Just at least try. I mean, god damn.
It's funny. We talked about
there with this kid, but holy shit, maybe lay the body on zone. I don't know. Just do something.
Do something a little bit, yeah. But I mean,
the other numbers are so damn good. His WAR percentage is 8% because his defense is that bad.
I need you to give me 2 minutes. We gotta pause.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Carolina was nice. And, especially after losing 7-4 the way they did to Carolina the last time. But the very next game,
and surely they followed up this nothing win with another solid performance, right?
This team crashed to reality really hard.
Yeah, no, I went into this game I looked at some of the Panther stats, and I think going into the Panthers game, the Panthers had won 6 of the last 7 at home, and in that time frame had outscored their opponents 36-13. And I looked at this wow.
Yeah.
Simpsons,
we're good.
Yeah. I'm in danger.
Yeah.
Never in a million years could I have imagined it was going to be as bad as it was.
Oh God. And by the time we weren't even halfway through the second period and we were that other Simpsons meme. No, stop. They're already dead.
Good freaking Lord. Holy shit. Is all I can say.
How much you want to bet Anthony Duclair still has a vendetta against this team? Even after Tortorella left. Because the Duke...
that never goes away.
The Duke kind of took it to us.
He owns us. I mean, he did it while he was in Ottawa when he had that hat trick against us.
Right.
And ever since he's been a Panther, he's been killing us every time he faces us. Good God, though. I mean, just...
How about Carter Verhaeghe, too, eh? Oh, boy.
But, I mean, just the Panthers are just so freaking loaded. Mackenzie Weegar had 4 points that night.
Oh, my God. That was Weegar?
Huberdeau had 3. Duclair had 2. Verhaeghe 2. Reinhart 2. They have Sam Reinhart.
Yes, they do have Sam Reinhart.
Can we talk about what they model organization, how they've turned things around?
Yes.
Sam Bennett.
I mean, well, because we've talked about Joel Quenneville's, residue even after everything that happened with him and the fallout from the Blackhawks organization. But Joel Quenneville is still one of the best coaches we've ever seen in our lifetime. And there's no way that those winning habits didn't rub off on Brunette, right?
Yeah.
No wonder he got named the Atlantic's friggin' all-star coach.
So here's some stats for you about Sam Bennett. I think this is interesting because you look at a guy change of scenery. We talk about that all the time in sports. Florida has been the perfect fit for him. So in his career, after being the 4th overall pick, his best season in Calgary was actually his rookie season. He had 36 points, 18 goals, 18 assists in 77 games. Followed that up with 26 and 81, 26 and 82, 27 and 71. And then, the lockout, not the lockout shortened season, the COVID shortened season, he had 12 and 52. And then his last season in Calgary, he had 12 in 38 before being traded. Since he has been traded, in 41 regular season games for the Panthers, he has 40 points. He's basically a point per game player since joining the Panthers.
My goodness.
He had 15 points in 10 games after being for the Panthers last year, and he's got 25 points in 31 games for the Panthers this year, 17 of them being goals.
I think he found a fit.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, this is a team that hilarious for that draft, the 2014 draft. They had the 1st overall pick, Aaron Ekblad. They traded for the 2nd overall pick, Sam Reinhart, this past offseason. And then the season, halfway through the season before that, they traded for the 4th overall pick, Sam Bennett. And they're all just playing so well for them.
It's just...
Sam Reinhart may be one of the most underrated players in the National Hockey League. We haven't really heard much about him this season. This guy's got 35 points in 38 games for them.
We see highlights from Duclair, from Huberdeau, from Verhaeghe, from Sasha Barkov. Can we fucking talk about Sasha for a minute?
God, he was unbelievable. And Huberdeau's...
Hubie's his right-hand man.
This is a team that is so well constructed now. Here's the difference. So there's another team in the Atlantic that we always talk about, that being the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes, because
and Toronto's whole big thing is
two of my best friends are Maple Leaf fans. Like, come on.
Yeah. And we talk about them because specifically they're so well constructed of a roster. It's unbelievable that they haven't won a playoff series. And some of the collapses that they've experienced have been monumental. And you have to
including the one to us. Like,
yeah. It's not, how in the world with that roster do you shoot less than 2% in a series? How do you blow a 3-1 series to Montreal? All the epic games have been collapses to Boston. We get all that, but it's a team that we always say, what do you do if they don't win a playoff series this year? Because that's been a topic for them.
Right.
The Panthers aren't close to that yet, but this is a team that hasn't won a playoff series in just about the same amount of time as the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm pretty sure 2004. So for them, with the culture
1996, I thought.
So it's even longer than that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been since they went to the final in 96.
God, that's unbelievable. Okay, so that you might be correct about that. So this is obviously for these two cores. You got two teams in the Atlantic, the Panthers and the Maple Leafs. Neither one of these have won a playoff series. Now it's more acceptable for the Panthers because they haven't been good as long, and
they're really a younger franchise, obviously.
Yeah, younger franchise. Eyes aren't on them as much. Fan expectations different. Obviously, it's a significantly different market in Sunrise compared to Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to say you need to panic if they don't want to play a series this year, but they need to make some sort of run in the next 2 years before we can consider them a legitimate contender, no matter how well they're constructed. Because it is a big thing. And playoffs are just as much mental as they are about how well your team is constructed.
Bob bouncing back helps. Spencer helps a lot. Like their goaltending is.
Spencer's been rough. Spencer's been rough this year.
Yeah, but I mean,
you hope that he can turn it around. But
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter since Bob's been so damn good. But we always go back to that, don't we? Especially when he was here in Columbus, was. What Bob are you going to get in the playoffs? Because every year we had the same damn playoff Bob that was just not good enough, except for 2019 when we beat the Lightning. And we lost the next round to Boston, but he wasn't the reason we lost that series. He was good in that series.
Right.
So if they can get that Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs, I mean, they're fine. But
what do you do? All I can say is, well, at least the Panthers still have Kodak Black right now.
True.
Do we want to at least? No, we probably shouldn't mention that.
We already got into it last episode. Didn't we? Yeah.
I don't remember talking about that last episode.
I remember we talked about him.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh my God. For those of you that don't know, just look up Kodak Black Panthers. That's all we're going to give you.
He's having fun at the game.
He was having a lot of fun at that game.
He's trying to lean over so he can get a better view of the ice.
So yeah, that 9-2 loss really just, that it was unacceptable. And we heard unacceptable, we heard exhausted, we heard from Brad Larson, he said guys were giving up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to hear that from your head coach.
You don't want to hear that ever. And you don't want to see it from your players.
No.
And, you look at the attitudes of the players and you just have to ask the question, why are you so pissy?
Thank you for that full circle moment. That's good. Did you see the video from that practice afterwards where pretty sure Brian Hedger had this quote where he was like, does this hurt? Yeah. This is supposed to hurt, right?
Oh,
well, losing hurts a lot fucking more than this.
Yeah, I didn't see the clip, but I saw the tweets.
Because they were getting bag skated to oblivion that practice. And Larson was like, yeah, losing hurts a lot fucking more than this should.
Well, I mean, I think you had a point, and it came through in the next game.
2-1 win.
Yeah.
At Philly, which was interesting for a lot of emotional storylines because like Jake Voracek had been out on COVID protocols for a bit, which was why Liam Foudy got called up. Didn't get the chance to play again. Oh my God.
I'm just convinced we're never going to see him. He's in the shadow realm with Gabriel Carlson.
God, I want to see those two play. You know how much I love Gabe Carlson. How much I just want a chance for these two guys. But like, okay, so Jake gets activated from COVID protocols. He's playing in Philly for the first time since the trade. Cam Atkinson is playing against Columbus for the first time ever. It's a really emotional night.
Yeah, and you know, neither of them got on the scoreboard like that. I know that they would have wanted to,
right?
Know, but
I would have liked to see both of them do it. Like, did you see you? I texted you Scott Hartnell's tweet.
Yeah, that was the
Hartsey tweet was so good, where he was just like, two of my besties going at it. Can it please end in a 3-3 tie with both of them having hat tricks?
The best tweet about that night was when the Flyers scored their goal. It was, I can't remember, it may have been Hedger tweeted it. He was like, collective sigh from Blue Jackets fans, all wondering the same thing. Who the hell is Mayhew? Never fucking heard of this dude in my life. It was his third career NHL goal. Apparently this dude played for the Wild for a little bit. Like,
well, okay, because the Flyers are in their own bad way right now because they've had such a COVID issue. They've had such a COVID issue that it's fucking up even the majority of their AHL roster. Lehigh Valley is going through it really bad right now.
It's a down bad franchise.
It's just brutal right there right now.
13, 19, and 8 on the season.
Columbus is 18, 19, and 1 going into tomorrow's game.
And it's unbelievable for Philadelphia. They've had 2 10-game winless streaks this season.
Right. Yes.
They played 40 games. It's like, what the fuck is that?
I haven't gotten in touch with our buddy Kevin List in a while. I don't know if you have.
I have not. I don't really want to poke the bear while the Flyers are kind of shit in the bed.
Right. We might want to check up on Kevin if this keeps going though, eh?
For real. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, I miss him. I miss like just interacting with him and Ellie and Jason and everybody like as much as we used to.
But yeah, the Flyers, I mean, the Blue Jackets didn't play a great game. Elvis was outstanding.
Again.
He was unbelievable.
Unreal.
That like 33 or 34.
Boone, again, 2 assists.
Yeah. You get a goal from Bjorkstrand.
And a goal from Line, the 2 guys that you want to see.
Yeah. You know, and you're going to get that production from Bjorkstrand. I'm not worried about Bjorkstrand. We just need to see more from Line, so that was good.
Well, because of the time he's missed, he needs to play catch up, and yeah.
But what every player has said on the Blue Jackets has been, this guy just needs to shoot more.
Yeah.
He does. He just needs to fucking
Larson said it. Boone said it.
Voracek said it.
Voracek, yeah. The guy who's supposed to be passing him all those pucks said it.
The whole reason he's here. Yeah, no, they all said it. So hopefully he continues. But they followed that up with the loss last night to the Penguins. Now, I'll say this.
Okay, I thought it was going to be 5-3 because of how I was getting notifications from the NHL app. Did Domi's goal get called for offside or something? Like it was offside?
So,
because it always is.
Yeah, I'll say this about last night. One, good God, you just see how unbelievable Sidney Crosby is. He had a hat trick. So they start off the game, 32 seconds into the game. Crosby, holding on to the puck. Everybody standing still, which is understandable because it's Sidney Crosby. I understand why they're puck.
Yeah, you're a little hesitant to
But they stood still. They let Brian Dumoulin get by. He walked right in, perfect shot, 1-0. All right, I no complaints there. I've had my complaints about Korpisalo this year. I'm not going to blame him for that one.
Plus, it's Dumo,
it's a perfect shot. Like, what are you going to do? A guy was able to walk with nobody on him to the top of the circle, and he just picks his corner. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, and we've talked about Dumoulin before too. Like
Elvis would have allowed that goal too.
As rival fans, Brian Dumoulin is probably still one of our favorite Penguins.
Yeah. I respect the hell out of him. He's carved out an unbelievable career at the Penguins.
He's talked, he's overshadowed by Chris Letang for obvious reasons, but I mean, he's so good in his own right.
He is. Because Chris Letang now he also had an assist on that goal. He had this secondary assist. So Chris Letang has 32 assists on the season. He's unbelievable. So the Blue Jackets come back. Gus Nyquist has the shorthanded goal. Mm-hmm. And then Boone Jenner has that weird goal that kind of squeaked through to Smith, and then he was able to put it in, but it was already just enough across the line, so it didn't really matter.
I mean, it's a Boone Jenner goal.
It is. It really is. But Crosby ties it at 2.
Can we talk about how
seconds left?
Can we talk about how Oliver and Boone are tied for the team lead in points right now?
Oh, we can talk about that in a second after this game's over.
Okay.
Recap. So the Blue Jackets, through the first 2, I thought their first 40 minutes were fine.
But that's how it always is, right? There's always that one period that they just don't show up. And typically,
I don't even know if I want to say that they didn't show up. For me, I'm looking at a team. The Penguins are way better than us. We know that. The issue is goal in the first minute, goal in the last minute of the first period. Those goals kill you.
Those are always killers, and
those are killers. And then in the third period, like at the end of the day, the Blue Jackets lost because I thought they played fine. The way that they played in this game was pretty similar to how they played against Philadelphia, and you just see the result. You can play this way against Philadelphia and win. You can't play this way against Pittsburgh and win. That's just the difference. The Penguins are way better than us. They're way better than the Flyers.
Right.
And, the Blue Jackets were able to pot 2 goals in the first period on Casey DeSmith, and Mike Sullivan made the decision to replace DeSmith. He put in Tristan Jarry for the last 40 minutes of the game, and he was unbelievable. He only faced 15 shots through 2 periods, but stopped every one of them. Couple high scoring chances in there. Jarry's a good goalie.
What can you do? Sometimes you just get goalied.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna hold too much shame over this team for losing a game to the Pittsburgh Penguins ever.
Not really. It's always nice to get those wins, and it's always nice to be a little, it's, I don't know if it's like a little brother syndrome or whatever, but it's like,
I mean, we can say that. I know nobody in this fan base wants to talk about it, but it absolutely is. Penguins fans don't think about us the way we think about them.
No, and I mean,
it's because we haven't beaten them in the playoffs. They've beaten us twice.
Right, and the rivalry is still there, obviously, for divisional reasons, for geographic reasons, for Dubinsky versus Crosby reasons. There's a lot of reasons to fuel this as an actual rivalry.
Someone had a tweet yesterday that I thought was kind of funny. It's it was a Penguins fan said something amongst the lines of I hope Brandon Dubinsky's watching this and crying, which I thought was kind of funny. But it's not like they obviously still hate Brandon Dubinsky. They do care about the game, not nearly as much as. But you mentioned the geographic reasons. I mean, the Blue Jackets have been hovering around 88% for attendance this year, which isn't bad. considering the fact that they're a rebuilding team. But
we did talk about this,
they were 102% capacity last night. That was the attendance last night. It's not hard to figure out why. You're facing the Penguins. You got a lot of Penguins fans in there, and you got a lot of Blue Jackets fans in there who want to outnumber the Penguins.
Yeah.
Which
it's
it's a little sad if you think about it in that aspect, but that's just how they are. The Penguins fans travel well, and Columbus is what, a 2-hour drive from Pittsburgh?
Something like that, 2 to 3.
So, I mean, I think that's worthwhile, and I'm sure tickets to go to Columbus game is a hell of a lot cheaper than it is to
go to PPG. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love watching the Blue Jackets, and there's some fun pieces, but we don't have a Sidney Crosby. We don't have an Evgeny Malkin. We don't have a Chris Letang.
We don't have we kind of have a Latvian Tristan Jarry.
Yeah. We don't have a Jake Gensel, to be honest. I mean, maybe Bjorkstrand, but I mean, Jake Gensel's unbelievable.
Yeah. We don't have
I think Gavrikov is your Brian Dumoulin.
Would you maybe call like Domi or Brian Rust? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I mean, that's just how it is. They're an unbelievable team, unbelievable organization.
Yeah,
it's an organization that has bred winning for the last 15 freaking years.
We talked about how much they're as close to the Patriots as the NHL can get, like as a model organization, like
100%.
For a small market franchise that they are. And
I've thought about this long and hard, Gady. Because I was like, I don't know if I want to consider the Lightning maybe like the Patriots, because it's they've won back-to-back, but it's kind of new. I figured it out. I think the Penguins are like the Patriots, and the Lightning are like the Warriors.
That makes a lot of sense.
So those are your comparisons in the National Hockey League. If you want any more comparisons
to like model organizations in other sports. Yeah.
Yeah, but Toronto Maple Leafs to the Dallas Cowboys.
Exactly. Why do you think Butter cheers for both? Shout out to Butter. We love you too.
God, that's gotta be a miserable fucking life, man.
Oh God, I could only imagine. So, all right. Next few games they got are actually sandwiched right in between shows, which will be nice. We'll have time to talk about individual games. They have tomorrow at 6 hosting the Senators. And then they host the Flames on Wednesday, the 26th, and they host the Rangers on the very next day.
All right. Yeah. God. Let's see. Hopefully they can beat Ottawa.
I mean, okay. The Flames are unbelievable this year. Which, we mentioned this, like whenever we don't expect anything, they beat the world.
Yeah, the Rangers have been beating on inferior competition all season long.
Just destroyers of worlds in New York. And I mean,
here's the thing. So Ottawa, Calgary, New York Rangers, Montreal. Go 2-2.
Go 2-2. And ideally you want those two wins to be the two.
You'd expect those 2 wins to be Ottawa
and Montreal. Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows? I'm not going to complain if.
I mean, I won't complain if one of them.
But you beat Calgary or New York. Like, I'm not going to complain.
I would rather you beat New York because that helps catch you up a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not thinking about playoff race, to be honest.
But still, like,
they're just so damn far out of it. It's unbelievable. Like, That's the thing about
we know what this year's supposed to be, but at the same time, you want to beat your, division rivals.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's just unbelievable this season that like it's kind of wrapped up, isn't it? I know it's early, man, but if you're looking at the standings, so Florida 61 points, Tampa 59, Toronto 51, Carolina 56, Rangers 56, Penguins 55, Washington 53, Boston 48. So those are your playoff teams, okay?
Right.
The next team is Detroit with 42 points. But here's the difference. Detroit has 42 points in 41 games, while Boston has 48 points in 37 games.
Right.
Like it's the gap between second wild card and the teams that are out isn't close.
Right.
So unless some team goes on an absurd run in the second half of the season,
or somebody dips like really hard,
it's kind of just the rest of the season's kind of just what are the seeding going to be, at least in the East.
Right. The West,
at least in the East. So the West is different. The West is
a little more up in the air. The
second wild card team in the West is the Sharks. They have 44 points in 41 games. The first team out are the Flames. They have 42 points in 35. So they have 6 games to get 2 points.
This season is just going to be the longest that I think we've ever seen, just because of all the outbreaks and everything. Like we're not even into February, and most teams aren't even halfway through.
Yeah.
Which we can make up with this very next topic, because the NHL announced the update to the schedule.
Yeah.
Let's see this press release. All teams will complete full season by original April 29th closing date. Okay.
That's good at least.
We'll fucking see. So we know they're not going to the Olympics, which means they're going to take this break that was scheduled from the 8th of February through the 22nd and cram as many games as they can in there. So here's what we know based off of this press release that I took from the other day. The revised schedule includes new dates for 98 games that had been postponed over the 2-month period from November 18th through January 18th. 98 games, dude. There was like just over 100 total postponed.
Good Lord.
And there's more. Date changes to 23 other games to accommodate for the new dates for postponed games. Oh, here was the kicker that I got from The Athletic. You ready for this?
I'm ready, baby. Hit me.
95 games scheduled for the 16-day window from February 7th through 22nd, designated previously as the Olympic break.
Okay.
Games are scheduled on all 16 dates, highlighted by a 10-game slate on February 17th.
I know what I'm doing February 17th. That's the one thing I'll say is, at least with the schedule like being like rescheduled, at least the NHL is going to have more than like 2 hockey games in a night.
Right. I feel bad
for frustrating when like you look at the schedule and you're like, oh, there's only 1 game on tonight, and then you look tomorrow like, oh, there's 12.
You look at one game, and the 1 game is like Arizona Montreal.
Yeah. Well, let's not be hasty here, okay? Let's not act like you didn't watch that game.
Right in the Tank Cup.
That's Tank Cup right there. I absolutely watched that. No, it needs to be like 2 mediocre teams nobody cares about. Like it's just something totally like irrelevant. Like
it's got to be like it's Stars Kings. Something really. No, it had to be Stars Blues so you could see Bonus's meltdown.
Okay, I'd watch that. I'd love to see his meltdowns.
But yeah, it's just, dude. This show is going to be bonkers throughout that whole month. Because it's just going to be a fucking sprint.
So, I want to add a topic because I just saw this. And this is maybe the most unbelievable thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
Go for it.
We talk about the Rangers and their success this year.
Yeah.
What do you? What has been one of the main reasons of their success?
Bread, Shesterkin.
Currently should be the favorite for the best. It shouldn't even be close. Goals saved above expected as of January 22nd. He's first in the NHL. Okay. I'll read you.
Okay. All right, Igor.
Are you ready for this? Okay. Tristan Jarry's fifth at plus 16.
Okay.
Saros, fourth, 16.1. Bobrovsky, third, 16.3.
Good for Bob.
Freddie Anderson, second, 21.8.
Whoa, whoa. 16 to 28?
Goes from, no, 21.8.
Of 21?
16, yeah.
Okay.
Igor Shesterkin, 26. Okay. To put this in perspective, this kind of impact based on historical standings data, if he was playing like an average starter this season, the Rangers would have a 51.5% points percentage this season. That's the same as the New York Islanders.
Oh. Shesty's good, eh?
Yeah, he's pretty fucking good.
Good on you, Igor. No wonder Elvis gave you a salute, huh?
Good Lord, he's grossly incredible.
I think people are finally starting to realize that, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah, by next week, Henrik Lundqvist gets his number retired too.
I'd say he passed the torch pretty well.
Yeah. Apparently Columbus is in on Jakob Chychrun.
I don't know why.
We don't need him.
You have to give up a fuck ton to get him.
Yeah. I can't see Yarmo selling the farm again. Unless they like not now.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense now.
Especially like just for one guy. Like,
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind Jakob Chychrun. He's a good
player, great hockey player.
I mean, I don't see the fit as of right now. He's a guy that's got to go to a contender mainly.
Pretty much. And you're already going to start investing more in Werenski starting next season. So it's like, what?
Yeah. Because he's got a good contract, but I think he's going to have, 3 years left on that deal heading into next season?
I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, he's got term left.
It's got some term. It's a decent term, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. And you're fine on the left side.
You have Zach,
Werenski, and
Gavrikov. Yeah, and then the third pair is the third pair, which
you'd like to see more from Bean. You'd like to see him be better defensively, but God, I mean, he's a fine third pairing defenseman. You need another. I like Peak on third.
I felt bad for Andrew during the Florida game because he had family and everything there.
Yeah, and they got eaten alive. But no, I like Peak as a third pairing defenseman. I like Boki.
He looked all right with Zach.
Yeah, I mean,
granted, Zach could make a lot of
players look good.
Yeah.
No, like I like him as a third pairing defenseman. I like Boki as a second pair defenseman. He's good offensively. This team badly needs a first pair right hand.
First pair right shot, like a TJ Brody. Not that they're gonna get TJ Brody, but
a right shot.
Oh, that's right. He is a left shot. He just plays. I just think because like he plays
right
the left,
side,
he plays the right side, but he's a left shot. So he's like, but he's so effective as a right side left shot guy that it's like.
I just want to call up the New York Islanders and be like, "Yo, how do we get one of those Ryan Pullocks? Where do we find those? We're not asking for yours. We just want to find one similar. Just
yeah. And you don't want to split up that perfect named defensive pairing either.
No, you can't.
Pelican Pollock. Come on. Yeah. They're our favorite unit, like for a reason.
Yeah. Hate the Islanders, but love that defensive pairing.
Absolutely.
No, they're I'd love a guy like that, but and if we can get and add a Pellick, I'd take that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's desperately what this team needs, and Chychrun's a good defenseman, but I mean, frankly,
I just don't see a fit.
Not at this point.
Not now, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense because what would you have to give up? They're looking for multiple picks, like, I think one of the packages that was rumored from Florida. Now, this is actually just a rumor. What I saw was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Anton Lundell, and there's another piece in there that's pretty significant.
Something like Verhaeghe or something. Maybe not Verhaeghe, but
Spencer Knight.
Oh, it
was Spencer Knight, Anton Lundell, and a first-round pick for Jakob Chychrun. Now, I don't know. We don't know how much truth's in that, but you think about the amount of value that is, comparatively speaking, on the Blue Jackets, you would think that would have to include the Chicago pick.
The Chicago pick.
You'd probably be giving up
Tarasov, maybe. Yeah.
And you'd be giving up probably one of your, forward prospects.
Right. Like Fix-Wolansky, or
you'd probably be giving up, like Liam Foodie or something like that. I mean, even then, that's still not close to what the Florida package is, so you'd have to include another pick. So, like, I think I'll pass.
I love how we keep coming back to Florida just because we want to pick Bill Zito's brain.
I like Bill Zito. I miss him.
I miss him too. He's done a really good job.
Yeah. I like to think that Yarmos taught him a thing or two.
Yeah, for sure. Congratulations to Willy O'Ree.
Yeah.
Finally getting his number retired by the Bruins.
Took long enough, but glad that they finally did it.
That happened on Martin Luther King Day, didn't it?
I didn't see that, did it? I wasn't paying attention.
Did that happen Monday? I feel like that happened Monday, which made it even more significant.
Let's see.
Which was kind of, one of the first players of color to ever gain notoriety in this league. They like to say Willie broke the color barrier. I'm pretty sure Larry Kwong did it first in the 40s, if I'm remembering that story correctly.
I'm trying to find this for us.
Mm-hmm. Just scroll through the NHL news and try to find the Willy O'Ree. Yeah. Jersey retirement. Marchand, last man in.
Oh, I didn't see this. House passes bill to award Congressional Gold Medal to Willy O'Ree, the first Black NHL player. That's pretty neat.
Good for Willie. But, okay. My point is, this was well-deserved and long overdue. He attended the ceremony over Zoom, which was kind of cool. Wish he could have been there in person, but I mean,
it was on Tuesday.
It was
Yeah. So just missed it, but still, the significance is unbelievable.
Yeah,
and it's well-deserved. Very happy that they finally did, because he's 86 now.
Yes, he's getting up
glad
there.
that they did it. Yeah, I'm glad that
while he was still alive. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'm glad that he was alive to see his number in the rafters.
Yes,
and to get that welcome in Boston and everything like that, because his impact on hockey is significant. And we talk about where the sport is at and how much far it's got.
Which we got a story about that just broke like yesterday.
Because it feels like every fucking podcast we're talking about something, but
yeah,
at least these conversations are happening in terms of we're starting to have a direction with it.
Yes, with the Black Girl Hockey Club and organizations like that, the HDA.
Mm-hmm.
We just need more voices.
Exactly.
And we're two white dudes, obviously. Look at us. But like, we know what we want out of this sport in terms of making sure everyone is able to play it and experience it.
It behooves the sport too, because it doesn't take a genius to understand racism is bad. God, what
who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But no, for real, like, it doesn't take a genius to understand that racism doesn't belong in any situation ever.
No,
it is no place anywhere. But just speaking from the sports perspective, it's having more people of color in it expands your freaking sport.
You want to grow the game? You want to grow
the fucking game. Yeah, this is absolutely how you do it. Make it that hockey for everyone. Hockey's for everyone bullshit that you've been, that agenda you've been pushing that you obviously don't believe in NHL.
Yeah.
No, why don't you actually mean it and actually make it for everyone
instead of just rich white dudes?
Yeah.
Because I mean, again, we talked about it with the wealth aspect too. It's like it's becoming way too expensive for most people to play.
Unbelievably expensive, yeah. But how do you grow the game? I know how you grow the game. Luke Prokop.
Yes.
And
Quentin Byfield.
Absolutely. So
Boko Imama, which we're just gonna get to Boko in a sec.
Yeah, so let's talk about this.
So this happened in a game a day or two ago. The AHL game, Tucson Roadrunners. Boko's playing for Tucson. I can't remember who exactly. Oh no, wait, it was the Barracuda.
They were playing,
right? Yeah,
the Barracuda versus
the Barracuda. I'm sorry, trying to just formulate this. Okay, what's his last name's Hradek for the Barracuda.
Never heard of this dude in my life. Hope to never hear of him again.
This is not the first time that Boko Imama has been subjected to a racial gesture like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second time in 2 years, because this happened in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Something very similar. Like, we talked about the Jalen Schmerich thing a month ago or whatever it was. God, that was only a month ago. The Schmerich thing.
Jesus Christ.
And there was a monkey gesture towards Boko Imama from Hradek. So the fallout from this, obviously, like, Boko's had enough of this. We know this. He's been around this his whole life.
Mm-hmm. Nah.
He's just as sick of it as anybody.
Nah. I mean, we're sick of it. God, imagine what he's fucking going through.
Exactly.
This is the guy who's experiencing that. And here's the thing. These are two instances that we're talking about. It's way more than two experiences for this guy.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's had...
We only know of two is the problem.
Of experiences in his life.
Yes.
I don't know how many he's had since he's become a professional hockey player, but imagine the shit that he went through growing up. when he was 10, when he was 11, 12, 13, 14, as he grew up in this sport and the awful culture it has. Hundreds of experiences this guy's had.
Akeem went through the same thing. Wayne Simmons has gone through it. Mm-hmm. Like the banana thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Adam and Steve told that story? Yeah. Wayne Simmons banana thing. It's like, it's all the same shit. And it has to end somewhere, somehow.
I wonder collectively how many stories the Subban brothers have.
Yeah, Jordan, PK, Malcolm, all three of them.
Yeah.
What's Revo got? Like, what's Ryan Reeves got? Who else can we name that, like Matt Dumba?
Matt Dumba for sure. JT Brown,
absolutely.
Yeah, Anthony Duclair.
Duke, God. The Smith, like Jamel Smith and Giovanni Smith.
Yeah, Giovanni Smith, yeah.
How many players can we name that we don't know about these instances because we just haven't publicly been notified of it? Mm-hmm. The fallout,
guys have to live with these experiences,
and they have to just live with it, but they shouldn't have to.
They should never. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
Just all these guys want to do is just go to the rink, see their friends, and play hockey.
Yeah, play a sport that they love.
Go play for a living, and
we talk about these guys who we know and have heard of. There's thousands
more than we don't. Yeah,
players who will never come close to playing professional hockey. Because there's so many kids who play hockey that don't make it professionally. Obviously. These thousands of players that we don't know, we've never heard of, we don't know their stories, who have to deal with it.
It's the most ridiculous thing, and really, like, as fans, all we can do is just support the players that we can support, and really, like, signing a petition online isn't going to do much.
No, we need actual change, and it starts at the top. Because if you can get change at the top of the National Hockey League, it'll trickle down to hopefully other hockey leagues, and then hopefully you can change the culture at the bottom, which is ultimately what's
the entire sport. Yes,
because it doesn't stem from it's not a National Hockey League issue. This is in every freaking hockey league, and
this is a culture issue. It comes up all the time.
This starts when these kids are young. It just does. It starts when they're 5-6 years old and they just start playing hockey, and they grow up, and you get the locker room culture, all that stuff like that. That's how it starts. It's how it happens. I mean, and no, we see racism in sports. No other sports has this issue quite like hockey does.
No. Let's mention the actual, like, what happened before we move on to the last couple of things, few things. So the Barracuda issue a statement. Hrabic issues a statement. The AHL has suspended Hrabic for 30 games. The last time this happened to Boko Imama, the offending player involved which I believe was Brandon Manning with the Condors. If I'm remembering that story right, it was Brandon Manning.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
Manning only got suspended 5 games in 2020 for whatever he did. Similar gesture, I'm assuming. Hrabic got suspended for 30 games.
Boy, they really showed him, didn't they?
And Hrabic is actually going to be, like, working with support groups and all of this to actually, like, learn, I'm assuming, but who knows how much he's actually going to learn. Let's hope he learns fucking a lot.
Yeah.
But they should cut him. Once this suspension's over, they should just cut him.
Yeah. I understand wanting to teach him and whatnot. But how old is this guy?
Hrabic? I have no idea.
He's 22 years old. I'm 22.
You know better.
At what point do you need to learn? It's one thing if a 14-year-old does shit like this, and it's like, no, you need to be taught. You need to know better.
Well, like Mitchell Miller?
It's unacceptable at any age. But it's one thing if you're 14 fucking years old and you do it, and you can be taught. You can be taught at 14 years old.
Mitchell Miller wasn't taught. And I hate to bring that back to the Coyotes, but like, I mean, Boko is playing for the Roadrunners, I guess.
Yeah. But like, God, you're 22 fucking years old. Like, what is it really? Like, what is he gonna learn? I think the only thing he's gonna learn out of this is, oh, I just can't do this publicly.
Yeah, that's.
You kind of are what you are at that point, aren't you?
I mean, this is just speaking from a general public standpoint. Like, I don't care how stubborn you are, you still can learn to grow.
Yeah. I hope he does grow from it.
Like,
I hope he does grow from it. I really do. But it's just frustrating.
Yeah. It's
because he's an adult.
Yeah.
You're a fucking adult. You should know better.
Yeah.
You should know better to not be a racist pile of shit.
Yes.
We're not setting the bar absurdly high for you, dog.
Yeah. All I can say is good luck to Boko throughout the rest of the year. And
oh my God, it sucks. I hate this for him.
Yeah. I hate it for anybody that goes through this. Like, yeah.
And like, it's like I said, man, like for every story we know about, for every one of these circumstances, there's hundreds of other ones that we'll never know about that happen at peewee levels or shit like that.
Yeah.
And I hate it for those kids too. They don't have to fucking deal with that. That's ridiculous.
Imagine being a peewee hockey player. Imagine being below 10 years old and experiencing that shit.
Yeah. They learn from their parents.
I don't know where you go from here.
Like I said, man, we have a long way to go. It's not a quick fix.
No, it's not. And we can only do, you and I as podcasters can only do so fucking much.
Yeah. We don't even have that much of a platform. There's only so much that Steve Dangle and other guys like that, the Spin Chicklets guys, there's only so much that those guys can do.
Not like Spit.
So much that hockey players.
Not like Spit and Chicklets is the model for that, but.
Yeah, not exactly, but even then, like, it doesn't matter the platform you got. Like, there's only so much you can do. It's a whole. How do you change a whole damn culture that percolates through not just here, so many different countries: United States, Canada, Sweden, Finland, Switzerland, Russia, like so many fucking countries that you have to worry about. It's unbelievable.
I want to know what a guy like Roman Nadir thinks about this.
Yeah,
like someone from a very non-traditional country, like Nadir, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, all the best to Boko on that one. And Barracuda, if you're just cut him, please. Once his 30 is over, cut him. Don't have to deal with him anymore. You shouldn't have to. With that, or with what your organization stands for. Because it looks bad on the Barracuda, it looks bad on the Sharks, it looks bad on
the Sharks. Already have enough of a headache to deal with right now, anyway.
With Evander, yeah. Anyway, we're going to go, okay, Habs finally named their general manager, and he's not a francophone. Remember we talked about this a month ago when we were like, Danny Briere might get it. Roberto Luongo might get it. A francophone is definitely going to get it. No.
I like to think that hilarious tweet that Roberto Luongo had during the whole Kodak Black situation is what prevented him from getting the job. That was the wildest thing ever. That dude tweeted that like publicly.
He was probably tweeting it in the box. Like
he was interviewing to be the GM of an NHL team, and he tweeted that. Oh my god!
But yeah, Kent Hughes, a player agent, is now the general manager for the Canadiens. He is from like around the Montreal area, but he's an Anglophone. He speaks French well enough.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? The Montreal media, especially the French side of the media, are so harsh.
Yeah. They're brutal.
That who knows how they're going to warm up to this guy.
Well, which I like how they're doing it because they're bringing him in. And this is a guy who clearly has good relationships with players. Who's a player agent.
Yeah.
And then you got Jeff Gordon too. So it's a tandem duo really that are going to be working together.
It's Montreal's version of JD and Yarmo. We said this.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I think that this can really work because I think Jeff Gordon's really good.
And we've talked about how much like the French thing matters, but doesn't.
It matters to them. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it matters to the people in Montreal.
Right. It matters to like the culture surrounding the Habs as
a historical franchise
and how proud, Quebecois people are to be French Canadians, I guess, like specifically the ones that are. Julian McKenzie is just as much a Quebec native and as, like Renaud Lavoie. Like, there's a reporter comparison for you.
Yeah, you really pulled that out.
Yeah, just shout out to J-Mac. He's been awesome with the CJ show. He's been awesome just hanging out on the SDPN Discord with all of us. Like it's him and Berkshire are really like the two most active SDPN members, and it's really fun to see.
Love Berkshire.
Berkshire's been really fun. But yeah, I think that this is a good move.
I think it's a very good move.
We know how they're going to work things because our organization runs things very similarly.
They're going to give them some time.
Yeah.
Which is what you need in this situation because this is not a quick fix.
No. It's going to be something.
It is maybe the worst thing in the world that they made it to the cup final last year.
Probably. All the best to Kent.
The expectation's going to be, we're close. We're just having a bad year. Like, no.
Right. No, it's a lot worse than you think it is. All the best to Kent Hughes, though. You got Jeff Gordon, who's a really good hockey mind. Right by you.
Yeah.
So they can do it.
Give them some time. I think they can do it. They'll be fine.
They can do it. Some PHF news. We haven't gotten to talk about women's hockey a lot, since. Yeah, this is really fun news.
Expansion. They're gonna have 2 more new teams, and one of them's going to Montreal.
And then there's one of 5 possible cities in the U.S. that they're looking for, and they're leaning Detroit.
Which I think would be great. I think
it would be really, yeah.
But also just the expansion of the salary cap.
The expansion of the salary cap is huge.
I think it's exponential, which just speaks to the growth of women's hockey.
Yes.
is something to be really proud of. And
I'm still mad over the women's tournament being canceled.
Yeah.
From the IHF and all that shit. But this really does help. And
it helps a lot, man.
You have the league, and then you have the PWHPA, which is still they're still two separate entities. I hope that someday soon they could come to some form of agreement and maybe not merge, but at least work together.
Mm-hmm. It's good though for the Premier Hockey Federation because this kind of exponential growth in the salary cap. What's it going to be like next year? The year after that, just continue to go up which would be awesome for these women who are unbelievable players.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so much fun. I'm so happy for them. So proud of the league, proud of the growth, and proud of the way that hockey fans have been rallying around women's hockey, specifically the last 2 to 3 years.
Yes, absolutely. I think having what little exposure that the NHL's helped with has helped too. They need to do more.
They need to do way more.
But having that little tournament, during the All-Star weekend recently was fun, and they need to make that more of a thing, and they need to just work with them more on endorsements and growth and general help.
Right.
So, but it's really good to see for the PHF that they're actually expanding.
Yeah.
Just as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Huge growth for women's hockey, and I love it.
Me too.
The last thing is a little shout out to, honestly, someone that I should have listened to their podcast more, but Rachel Doerrie's leaving Staff and Graph technically.
Yeah.
Because she got a big promotion with the Vancouver Canucks.
Good for her.
She's going to join their analytics department. Congrats to Rachel. Mikey lost his podcast wife. Sorry, Stevens, but
it's tough. But you know what? That's awesome.
Congrats to Rachel.
She's going to kick ass there.
Oh, absolutely. I wonder if she's going to teach Bruce a couple of things about analytics.
I'd love her to teach me even more about analytics.
Just her and Jay Fresh and Dom, your three mentors.
Oh, God, I would die. That's a room I want to be in.
Just a boardroom
with this player. How do you analyze this player?
So, how pissy is Leon Draisaitl really?
What is his pissy per 60? He's in the 99th percentile.
Oh man, this was a fun one. This was a good one. And now that you're back in Buffalo, we'll be back to 2 shows a week, everybody.
Yeah, we will.
We'll see you Tuesday.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at By J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.